What prompts a person in today's day and age to decide they want to run for mayor?
Well, I never pictured myself being in public service, to be honest with you, in a general sense. I am the first in my family to get a college degree. I studied mathematics at a state university here in Missouri. Following that, I worked in the private sector for about a decade and a half, doing mathematical modeling for big companies, primarily pharmaceutical companies worldwide. Had the great opportunity to travel around and always made St. Louis my home. I love St. Louis. We are a legacy city with phenomenal assets, but we're failing to capitalize on them. We're failing to grow in any meaningful way. I have a son. We live here together in St. Louis, and the violence is out of control. The racial segregation, we have some real structural issues that are preventing us from being the city we can be. So I ran for office for alderman, which in this unreformed city is very similar to a city council person and a different context. And been serving down at the Board of Aldermen for about 6 years and just decided it's time to take our city in a new direction. And so I filed a run to serve as the sort of CEO of the city of St. Louis.
So what is a mayor in St. Louis responsible for doing?
St. Louis is what's considered an unreformed city government structure. So the mayor is, like I said, the CEO, but there is a trifecta of elected officials who have the real budgetary power in the city of St. Louis, and that the budget is set by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, which is made up of the mayor, the comptroller, and the president of the Board of Aldermen. So the mayor really has the most staff, and so it really directs a lot of that, but it is a dispersed set of powers, at least on a budgetary sense. The mayor, however, does really direct the administration of city services across all departments, hires and appoints commissioners to every single department and really directs how the city goes about its daily business and really sets the tone. Even though the city of St. Louis makes up only about 10% of the entire St. Louis region, being the historical city, this urban core of the region, the mayor really convenes a lot of the discussion and really sets the overall tone for how we're moving forward and projecting ourselves in a national sense and an international sense.
So if you're in competition with other people for mayor, what makes you somebody? What makes you stand out? Why do you think you should be mayor?
Sure. Well, I'll start by saying I'm the only candidate in the race that hasn't already run for mayor and lost. I bring that up not to take a dig at my opponents, but really just to highlight that I am a new way of doing business. I have taken on significant citywide issues with a tenacity, with a work ethic, and with a real digging into the details of things and the facts, understanding the real structure of some of the deals that have been positioned before voters and the general public here in the city of St. Louis, and have always been on the right side of issues, not just on the issue side of things, but really digging in. I mean, in politics now, it's easy for a political position to be taken, stand on the right side. But what do we actually get out of that? What are we actually doing? What are we accomplishing? And so I really stand out as somebody who is willing to dig in to the issues, develop not just a position on those things, those solutions presented to us, but driving new solutions and understanding how other cities, other municipal governments are addressing these major problems and weaving those solutions into the system that we currently have in St. Louis to see how those things would fit in for our community.
As I think about political office, I think everybody, well, I don't know about everybody, I'll just speak for myself. I went, to college and was very idealistic, and then you get done with college and you kind of develop a political nihilism that I don't think has exactly worn off. In fact, I would say for me, political nihilism has deepened. But at the same time, I want to say, somebody has to go in there. You want to have a good person in there. And yet it seems like such a pit for somebody to get involved in.
God.
Do you have that perception that it is a pit that you're climbing into, or do you not have the nihilism?
It is a pit, no doubt about it. I mean, and St. Louis is one of the pitiest pits, I suppose, with most people and problems in it. We have 279 municipalities. I'm a council person. I'm one of 679 elected officials in St. Louis. It's unbelievable. So what happens in a city where the governance structure is so deconstructed and the power dynamic is spread across so many people? You have individuals fighting, clawing for relevance in a political structure that is just so fractionated. And it is a pit. But I am committed to St. Louis. I'm born and raised here. I love this city, and I want this community to be one where my son, who's now 9, when he is of, age to get a job, can find an opportunity here and continue to live here. And right now we are sputtering out of relevance. Our population has stagnated for 4 decades. If we do not change course now, who's going to do it for us? It's just not going to happen. I look ahead at the enormous amount of opportunity as we see major shifts in human capital throughout the world following a global pandemic like COVID-19, and looking ahead at climate migration and what that means for a Midwestern city along the largest body of free-flowing fresh water in the United States. The opportunity is endless, not to mention the technology hubs that we have here, the intellectual infrastructure that we have to capitalize on. The upside is enormous. And you're right, it is a pit. And it's going to take somebody who understands the deficits that we have and how to operate in such a dysfunctional political system. And I've had the opportunity to do a lot of that at the Board of Aldermen.
When I think about 600 some odd elected officials for one city, particularly a city of
region. That's the region.
Okay, the whole region. Okay, but what are the locus of power? What is it that people are fighting over? Is it all budget? Is it the authority over police? What power are people trying to reach for?
All of the above, so a lot of times you have elected officials who are looking to retain their seats, and they're looking for a microphone or looking for some power over any number of things. And that's where you see a lack of the solution to sort of combine city county, for example, and have a combined set of governance structure. You see those in elected office really fighting that to retain their relevance. But right now, one of the interesting opportunities I'm seeing throughout the St. Louis region is a real paradigm shift in that those individuals who are in elected office who would stand to lose little their parochial power if we do combine in some meaningful way are championing that, precisely because they have come to realize that failing to do so is going to result in the same old stagnation that has plagued us for the last 4 decades. And I think, they're looking at their own children, many of whom have left the St. Louis region for greener pastures, for more robust economic environments, and where they can seek more gainful employment than here in St. Louis. That's not to say we don't have opportunities. We absolutely do, but we have got to start growing them if we're going to be a place that can thrive.
Thanks for checking out this podcast short. If you like this interview, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and hit that bell so you always get notified about this podcast. And if you're really interested in conversations like this, you may want to consider joining the Articulate Ventures Network. To find out more, go to network.articulate.ventures.